All right. So we have personal jurisdiction. Does anybody have what they think is a great example?
I think personal jurisdiction, from what I was reading, was talking about how the person that's getting, let's say, getting sued, for example, they have to have some affiliation with that state. They have to be tied to that state in some way, and they also, when they're getting papers served to them or something, they have to be handed to them personally. So it's not just something where you could get something in the mail and you have to show up to court or something. It's something where someone would have to serve you papers, if I understood it correctly.
Yeah.
Yep, that sounds about right.
And then also people who, like, if you file a complaint, you're automatically subject to that court. So that court has personal jurisdiction over you as soon as you file a complaint about something. There's also, Brian and I were talking about the long arm statutes. Does everybody understand those different things?
From what I understand, it kind of just extends personal jurisdiction. Like people who own properties or corporations. Is that right? Like if they own a corporation in that state, that would count as like if I'm suing, let's say, a person who owns a corporation or whatever, would that be long arm statutes instead of like a breach of contract, for example?
I think because they own the property or the corporation inside that state, then yeah, there's jurisdiction over it. Also, like the state can go after anyone who owns property or corporation inside that. And then also, the last thing that I just looked at was if you own a corporation in another state, but you consistently do most of your business within that state, then that long arm statute still reaches to them as well.
Oh, really? Okay. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, that was on. So if you guys have your books, that's on 55 and 56, has a lot of the stuff about that on it. So,
okay.
So the example that, I don't know if any of you saw the example that he did, but
yeah, I saw it.
They're like specific, like an actual name of a person and an actual lawsuit or something like that that's going on, which I didn't do that when I submitted my online. I just said what it was. So I don't know if anybody has a good example of one of those situations or not, or if we can just come up with one together.
For personal jurisdiction, I submitted one. I believe I'm going to try to remember it because I think I submitted it and I don't think it lets me go back and view it. But it was talking about Casey. She gets sued by someone in a state and they come to her residence, I believe, and serve her with the paper to show up in court on a certain date. And she signs the document saying she received it. She received the affidavit or whatever to come to show up at a certain time because she's being sued by someone because she ran a business. She ran a business and her business was getting sued, actually.
Okay, nice.
All right, so my memory's not that good, but that's mine was somewhere along the line of that. So.
Well, mine didn't have any specifics whatsoever, so that's already better than mine.
Yeah, mine didn't have any specifics either. So I think yours is fine, actually. It sounds about right. It's in the state, it's in the business, so I like that one. I'm okay with using that one. So
that's pretty good.
Andrew, had you submitted any that had actual specifics to it?
Yeah. So for mine, I just there was a business that bought a couple printers from another business, and then the printers turned out to be defective, and so they sued the people they bought it from. And since the business was in, say, like Ohio or whatever, that's where the trial is going to be at.
That's better than mine. I think we'll go with that. You actually threw a state in there. You threw
that
a state
was a
in
little
there.
more specific, yeah. So where did she buy the printers in? What state?
She bought them in Ohio. That's where everything went down.
But she lived. Where did she live?
Anything else?
Same state.
Okay, so she
Yeah.
bought them in that state, and because that's where the corporation was and where she bought it, that's where the trial was going to be held.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, let me see if I can remember this enough to type it down.
Okay, cool.
You got a name you want to use?
Mike.
Mike.
I don't think any of us is Mike. We're good. Yeah.
What's the name of the company?
Let's see. What should we do? Let's call it Paper Express. I think that's
What was it?
Paper Express. They're selling printers. Or, yeah.
And they didn't work, or he didn't need them anymore. They were broke.
It was just like recently after he bought them, they went defective. I guess we'd have to write something like the company guaranteed the printers were going to work or something like that when the sale happened.
Should we say when Mike tried to return them, they wouldn't take them back?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I decided to what? Mike decided to file a lawsuit.
Yeah. Defending traditional notions of fair play and substantial presence in lawsuit.
Okay, so I put Mike purchased some printers from Paper Express. The printers went defective recently after the purchase. The company guaranteed the printers were going to work for a certain period of time. When Mike tried to return them, Paper Express wouldn't take them back. Mike decided to file a lawsuit against Paper Express for the cost of the reimbursement. The transaction and company resided in Ohio, so the trial will be held in Ohio.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Perfect. Great.
So then the next question is an explanation of our example. So I can just fill that in then. So the next important thing is we have to come up with a quiz question. Quiz question based on personal jurisdiction. And then the correct answer. And then 3 incorrect answers, but that are good. So it can't be like something that is obviously wrong.
Easy. Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
right. So we're thinking about doing something on the long arm statute that has to do with a company doing most of its business in a different state. So like, for instance, if the company that's in Ohio actually does consistent and a large amount of business in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, so I don't know why they would do that, but then the personal jurisdiction can reach to Pennsylvania. So if they do something and the people in Pennsylvania are mad because something was wrong or something like that, then they can do the trial in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But we have to come up with like a question, kind of like your example was.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. I was thinking like maybe we could come up with like 4 different examples. and like just feel like which one of them is an example of long arm statutes. Or maybe that's too much. Or maybe that's too much, huh?
I don't know. Did you read the questions that he had written? He wrote like 5 different questions and then was like, this isn't very good. And then the next one was like, this is a little bit better, but still not very good. And then like finally at the end, he was like, this is how it should be.
I did not read that.
I missed that part.
Do you have the link? Can you send me that link real quick? I don't
Let
know.
me see if I have it saved.
Because there's so many things that he sends, and I'm just like, I don't know where to look.
It's somewhere in iLearn.
iLearn? Okay.
Let me see if I can find it.
I can't find it.
Okay, here is an example. So if you go into week 2 content and then go to group activity, concepts and weekly study groups, I think this example right here is
Week 2. Group activity. Which one is it? Group activity?
yeah, the group activity, and then there's a link that says here's an example. It has like a sample group assignment.
Dang, my website's not opening.
Okay, I found it. Jeez.
Yep. So obviously he said you just put down the correct answer, and but then the wrong answer, we're supposed to go over and say, okay, what is the feedback, and are they good enough to use, or something like that.
Okay.
So we just have to put quiz question and then, okay, correct answer and all this. Okay.
Correct answer, and then the correct answer feedback, like why is it the correct answer, and then wrong answer, and then why are they the wrong answers.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we first have to come up with an example. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, wow. Really tough.
State.
This is so hard.
So it's basically talking about like a court. So the long arm, if I understand correctly, is talking about how a court has jurisdiction over an out-of-state company. Would that be correct?
Yeah, if that company does their business, primarily does their business in that state.
Yeah.
So they might have some workers that are working in another state, but their main corporation's business is in one state, another state.
So like if the company was in one state, but they did most of their business, like if they sold printers, like he said, and most of their printers primarily go to one state, that state has like the long arm, because of the long arm statutes, has a jurisdiction over them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just think of it like the places like fast food places, like McDonald's is everywhere, and they have to follow the rules of like whatever state they're like centered in, not just the corporation, like where the main business is centered at, but like McDonald's in Pennsylvania has to follow Pennsylvania law, and so forth like that.
Okay. All right, that makes more sense.
So maybe we can just do something really similar to the example, but just change it a little bit so that it has to do with that part of it.
Okay, Bill.
So,
Oh, your puppets.
Sorry if you can hear my 2-year-old in the background. She's like playing with a water bottle. So,
Okay, that's why we had to do it this time, because if we waited till 2:30, you would hear 3 kids running around the house like maniacs. So, and they're a little bit bigger. They can make a lot more noise.
Got it.
So,
Okay, cool.
Let's see.
Okay, so we could like make an example of someone trying to sue somebody and be like, do they have personal jurisdiction over this person? So like I don't know, let's make up another name. How about Sarah? Is that cool?
All right.
works for me.
Sarah could be the CEO. I don't want to. Should I copy his like? Okay, let's just
No,
say.
I don't know if it works being the CEO. Maybe if Sarah's like the customer of some
Okay.
company, and then maybe the end of the quiz question can be where should what state has personal jurisdiction, or who has personal jurisdiction in this matter, or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
It's good.
Okay, so this is so hard. Sarah's a customer who buys I don't know, it's a cool product. Computers. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, she buys a computer from.
Say Sarah owns a computer retail company. She purchases all of something. She purchases all of her keyboards. I don't know.
All right, that works.
Yeah, that works.
Give me a name of a big company that would sell keyboards.
IBM.
Microsoft. IBM. MI.
Let's do a fake name because they're gonna only sell their keyboards to her state,
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
or primarily sell to her state.
So a fake company name, is that what we're looking for?
Yep, a fake company name for keyboards.
Keyboards R Us.
Perfect.
Yeah, sounds good.
So what's the next part we're coming up with?
Kind of like, what's the situation? So maybe she buys keyboards from this company, and maybe they're not working right. And I guess she tries to sue them. So we're trying to come up with a question like he kind of said, can she have personal jurisdiction over this person or this company or whatever? It kind of we have to add more detail and explain how'd she buy that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if she would have bought it from the internet or something, but it's out of state, so it wouldn't work. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think that could work. Because if the company was centered in Ohio, but she's buying it online and she lives in Pennsylvania or something like that, I think that could work.
Because there's a part in the second paragraph in page 55 It says any presence in a state other than a passive internet site accessible there may leave a firm subject to personal jurisdiction.
Hmm.
So yeah, so this one says general personal jurisdiction occurs when continuous corporate operations within a state are so substantial and of such a nature as to justify suit against the defendant on cause of action arising from dealings entirely distinct from those activities. So like if they sell like the largest percentage of their keyboards to Idaho or whatever, or yeah, then okay, so let me just read what I have down so far and we can change it however you guys want. It says Sarah owns a computer retail company in Idaho. She purchases all of her keyboards from Keyboards R Us. Keyboards R Us manufacturing plant is located in Utah, but primarily and consistently sells to Idaho. The last group of keyboards Sarah purchased were faulty. She attempted to return the product, but Keyboards R Us declined to accept the return. Sarah decides to file a suit against the company for the amount of the defective product. Which state should the trial be held in?
No, that sounds all right.
Oh, that's real good. I didn't know you were typing all that during this meeting.
Got it. That's pretty good. And it also says on page 55 under the fine print at the bottom, it says that if it's an internet sale, if the company that was like selling the thing, if they were the ones like marketing it out and like putting it out there for people to see, then it can be sued wherever where the purchase state was made.
Oh,
But
good.
if it's just like you just happen to stumble upon the website, then it doesn't really count.
Okay.
So maybe we can make that even more difficult for people and say
Perfect.
She stumbled upon the website.
the manufacturing. That's true. We could say. I don't know how to say that.
We could be like she was looking for a place to, I don't know, buy these keyboards, and she just happened to Google this place or something like that, and she decided to try it out or something like that.
So that could work. You just have to like mention Keyboards R Us wasn't like actively marketing their product.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just kind of have to make it convenient for her, I guess.
pretty much.
With personal jurisdiction, is it a rule that the defendant has to sign a copy of, has to personally be handed the lawsuit claim against them?
I think so, yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, it does actually.
Okay.
All right, so this is what I changed it to. I changed it. Okay, Sarah owns a computer retail company in Idaho. She purchases all of her keyboards from Keyboards R Us, hold on, which she found on Googling for keyboard manufacturing. Keyboards R Us manufacturing plant is located in Utah. Keyboards R Us does no type of marketing out of the state of Utah. The last group of keywords Sarah purchased, and then it's all the same. But so that's specifying that they don't do any kind of marketing outside of the state of Utah. And she found their website just from Googling for manufacturing companies. So then people might think that we're trying to say that they should do it in Utah, but in Idaho, but really it should still be Utah because they're not advertising, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Sounds good to
I
me.
like it.
Okay.
They have to come up with 3 wrong answers. So you guys can think about them.
All right.
Okay, so the question was which state? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to do what state should the trial be held in and why.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. So the company's in Idaho, correct? Or the company's in Utah, I mean?
Company's in Utah and she's purchasing from Idaho.
Purchasing from Idaho. So the trial would be set in Idaho because she's purchasing them from Idaho could be one of the answers.
That is perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm assuming most people would pick that one. I would if we didn't really talk about it.
For the right answer, I put the trial should be held in Utah because the long arm statute only applies if the manufacturing company is actively advertising in that particular state.
Okay, so we have one wrong answer and one good
Oh,
answer.
good.
So we just need 2 more wrong answers.
Mhm. Another wrong answer could be it should be in Utah because that's where the company's headquarters is located.
Yeah, that would be good.
That'd be like the right state, but the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Then one could be it could be a federal case because of the seriousness of the lawsuit, and so the feds had to come in and they have control. They have control over it.
Ooh, you're crazy.
So it'll be held in Washington D.C. or something like that.
I think that would be like super hard.
Obama will be a lawyer.
Okay, so our answers we have the trial should be held in Utah because the long arm statute only applies if the manufacturing company is actively advertising on that particular state. The first wrong answer is the trial should be set in Idaho because she's purchasing the keyboards in Idaho. And then the other one is it should be in Utah because that's where the company is located.
Okay.
And the last one is it is a federal case because of the seriousness of the suit, so it would be held in Washington, D.C.
Someone's gonna choose that one.
I hope someone chooses that one. That would be awesome.
Too funny.
Keyboards are such a serious matter, right?
Oh,
All right. So I'll just come up with the feedback for each of them, because after each question you have to put the feedback of whether it's why it's right or why it's wrong.
Mhm.
And then I'll email them to you guys. Do you guys want to look them over before I submit it, or what do you want to do?
No, I
Sounds
trust.
good. It sounds good already. I don't
Yeah.
think we need to look it over.
Perfect. So I'll email them to you just so you guys have a copy of them, and then I'll submit the stuff.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
You're welcome. So let me stop broadcasting real quick.